Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled parents think I should give them thousands of dollars and they never even thank me. After that, Mom thought a new vacuum was more important than my college. And after that, Karen gets called out by her name. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen stubs her toe. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And huge shout out to our newest official channel members, Reaper of Talon and Danny Sweet Pea. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Become a member today and I'll give you a special shout out in our next video. Entitled parents think I should give them thousands of dollars and they never even thank me. My parents requested I come home during all of this mess, which has been the biggest mistake of my life. Seriously, it was an awful move, and once I'm out of here, I am never speaking to these people again. I have a good amount of money coming in because I work my butt off, and some projects are finally paying off. When I first got here several weeks ago, they started requesting I pay random bills. My mom said, that would be awesome, and faked being happy when I know now she clearly expected to make bank off of me. Car insurance, cell phone bills, house payments, etc. I've been happily paying them. Not only have they not said thank you once, which I wouldn't mind if they just showed me some sorta not negative emotion, but they are constantly making me wait several days to pay these bills and being weirdly aggressive about it. The logical next step is to not pay the bills, right? Except when I said I wouldn't help if it bothered them, my stepdad flipped crap and called me a freeloader. So my taxes came, and I decided to give my mom $400. Because I have good money coming in, I also ordered random odds and ends that I need/want. Not only was I not told thank you for the $400, but now as my things come in every time something arrives in the mail, they both get passive aggressive. It doesn't matter if it's a $9 skin cream. I might as well have lavished myself with gold by the way they overreact. I also told my mom because I made under enough to get the $1,200, when it comes, I'm going to give her $500. When I told her this, she got weirdly passive-aggressive about it again, and I could tell that she wants the whole $1,200. I don't get it. They make good money. They both just got more than me back in taxes. Also, does not help that they have done nothing but crap on me and ride me since I got here, treating me like trash, even recruiting my brother into it. Seriously, they've made me feel lower than dirt. I'm crying myself to sleep every night because of how they're treating me every day. And just now, my stepdad messaged me that I need to knock off the spending spree and grow up. Excuse me, because I know they raised me, but in my world, if anyone happily gives you thousands in cash without complaint, you at least be nice to them. But with them, they clearly want every penny I have and to treat me like trash. I own a home, I have a life, I have a career. I don't need to grow up. I'm grown. I would dip today if my state wasn't under a stay-at-home order, and if I wasn't so worried about my mom who works with the public. Edit. We live in a state where it's dirt cheap to live. Just to really put an emphasis on how crappy it is that my thousands haven't been enough money for them. The money I've spent in 1 month here would pay someone's rent in this state for 5 months. I've given them a lot. I think I deserve a good job or a thank you for helping. All I want is for them to show me some kind of love. Mom thought a new vacuum was more important than my college. This took place a few years ago when I was still in college for my bachelor's degree. For several years, I waitressed/cleaned houses and really pinched pennies, putting any extra money into savings for college. I didn't qualify for any assistance because my parents claimed me as a dependent and they made too much money. But I am very lucky to not have student loans, having saved enough from working to pay as I went. The last year of my bachelor's degree, I was hardly living at home. I lived with my boyfriend most of the time, helping with those expenses. I also helped with things around the house, particularly for my mom who lived alone, paid all of my own bills like car insurance and such, and at this point was buying all of my own food and toiletries. I'm explaining all of this for background, not at all to complain, because I was happy to do so, and as an adult who was able, I felt it was my responsibility. Around rolled tax season, and I approached my mom, asking her if she could not claim me on her taxes this time, considering everything stated above. Her and my dad took turns each year claiming my brother and I on their taxes as dependents. I told her not being claimed would really help out with getting money for college to finish up my final year, as the money I saved was pretty much depleted. She agreed without any issues, and I couldn't have been happier. I don't remember specifics, but I was having some issues with financial forms online and expressed my worries that I was having trouble figuring it out. 2 days later, and with help from a university counselor, it was all good and well. I don't even think a full week passed between our initial conversation and the conversation below, and the deadline for taxes was still a good ways off. I came to my mom's house, let her know I'd gotten it figured out, and would be submitting my paperwork. She says, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said it wasn't going to work out." Confused at her apology, I said, "I was having difficulties, but I got some help and it's fine now." "But I didn't think it would work, so I claimed you on my taxes and turned them in yesterday." I was quiet for a minute. She couldn't have followed up with me in those couple of days to confirm it wouldn't work out before filing? It isn't like I kept her waiting for weeks. Okay, whatever, it can still be okay. So I asked her if she could give me the money that she would get from claiming me, since she wouldn't have been expecting it this time around anyway, and it would really help me. I pointed out how I pay for all my own things and don't really live at home anymore, and that I've worked so hard. "Well, honey, really, I'm so tight on money right now. I really could use the money. I know I don't talk finances with you a whole lot, but honestly, this would help me." I was dumbfounded, and then quietly furious, but ultimately thought, I don't want my mom to struggle, so it's okay. I'll figure it out. I tried really hard to not let it bother me until her tax money came in, and she bought over $1,000 worth of small home appliances, the most expensive being a vacuum cleaner, when hers worked perfectly fine. In fact, she offered me her old one because it works perfectly fine. I just wanted an upgrade. In the end, my dad and stepmom felt so bad for me in this situation, they gave me a couple $100s to put towards school, which was a blessing I didn't expect but was so grateful for, though it barely made a dent in college tuition. Basically, that's where the story ends. I never really talked to my mom anymore about it because she has done so much that's hurt me. I try to pick my battles. It was validation enough for me that the other people in my life saw it was wrong too. Karen gets called out by her name. At the store this past Sunday with a friend of mine, we both were waiting in line to buy stuff, and our register was pretty close to the customer service desk. My friend is staring at the customer service desk and then nudges me to look. Woman is at customer service desk complaining. She's going on and on about not being able to return the 2 packages of toilet paper that she had bought 2 months ago. Store policy was that they were not accepting returns for that item, along with disinfecting wipes, rubbing alcohol, and other cleaning supplies. So this woman looks like a classic Karen in every single way, right down to the frosted bobbed hair. It truly was the perfect Karen cut. Also in yoga pants. So yeah, on point. So this discussion between the hapless store employee and Karen is getting ugly. Store employee is no match for Karen, who is well versed in Karen language and using the terms to get her way, such as, "Why is the store policy only applicable to those items?" and "I buy stuff here all the time and have never seen that sign," and "I have a store credit card here and have been here for over 10 years. I give you so much business and I am going to cancel my card if you don't allow me to return these items." Then Karen, being Karen, goes right for the jugular. "I need to speak to your manager right now." My friend who is with me is a server at a pretty popular restaurant in the same city. I'm a bartender, but not at the same restaurant. She knows the woman complaining. My friend starts telling me that the woman complaining is her worst nightmare. She would always come into the restaurant with her 2 kids and demand all sorts of special stuff for free, then complain about not taking some type of coupon or membership discount card. And the best part, this woman's name really is Karen. So my friend yells over to her, "Hey Karen, how are you?" To which the woman explodes. "How do you know my name is Karen? Who the heck are you? Just mind your own business and stop acting like you know me. Don't call me by my name like you know me." Ugh. So a few of the other employees are now snickering to themselves, including the cashier that is our cashier for our line, who says to us, "Seriously, is her name really Karen?" To which my friend tells her, yes, absolutely, and she is a total 100% Karen. My friend then tells the cashier that this woman comes into her restaurant and pulls the same crap all the time, and at least now, she knows that it isn't just her that is the target of her missives. We stick around to see if Karen gets her way because, well, I insisted to see the outcome because I wanted Karma to kick Karen's butt. Yup, Karma kicked Karen's butt in this case as the store refuses to return the toilet paper and recommended she donates it to charity or a shelter or a community group that provides necessities to those in need. The manager even told Karen that if she wanted to leave it at the store, he would make sure it got to a group that needed it more than she did. Karen exploded at that point as she dragged the toilet paper back to her car. Total karma payback. Worth the wait to see. My friend can't wait to see Karen back after the restaurant reopens, as she's planning on bringing a roll of toilet paper to the table along with the menu for Karen as a fun new promotion for the restaurant reopening. Apparently, not doing something that isn't your job is rude. Okay, so I work in a bar. A party of office workers from across the road came in one night. Most of them are okay. One of them, a woman who I'll call Sarah from now on, was pretty drunk. At around 11 p.m., she asks me for a baked snack that was no longer sold. I told her that we didn't have any. Confused, she said, "But I was here a few months ago and you had them." I explained that we stopped selling them. Again, she says, "But you used to sell them." Again, I explained that we don't sell them anymore. Completely serious, she says, "Can you make me one?" I couldn't believe the cheek of this lady. Incredulously, I said, "Make you one? I'm a bartender, not a cook, and the kitchen's closed for the night." The cook had left over an hour ago, and even if by chance she was still hanging around, there was no reason why she or I should go out of our way for this woman-child. Refusing to relent, Sarah goes, "Well, can't you just defrost some?" I explained to her that the cook, who had gone home an hour ago, used to make these savory pastries from scratch. There's nothing to defrost. I told her that if she's really hungry, the supermarket, which is a 5-minute walk away, sells the snack she's after, and that they shut down at midnight. Sarah, "You're really rude." Me, "Am I? What have I possibly said or done that can be considered rude?" "It's not what you said, it's your demeanor." Me, "My demeanor? What about my demeanor?" Sarah, "You're not being very accommodating. You're very cold. You're not smiling." Me, resisting the urge to call her a toxic jerk. "I'm not really a smiler." "Well then, maybe you shouldn't be working here. I expect better than this. My company," it's not her company. She's just an employee, "spends a lot of money here. I don't like your attitude." Me, "Other customers don't have a problem with me. Most of them actually find me hilarious." "I want to see your manager." She actually said this. Me, "The manager's currently busy." This wasn't a lie. Sarah, "What's your name?" Me, "You don't need to know my name." She kept on harassing me for my name, but I wouldn't give it to her because I didn't want to. Plus, I was enjoying watching her growing frustration. I sent the security man a text telling him to not tell her my name. I stayed stoic because I refuse to give people like this the satisfaction of reacting. When they can't get a rise out of you, these people always get angry, which is hilarious. After a bit more BS playing the amateur shrink, she said, "What happened to you that's made you like this? Something must have gone seriously wrong in your life to make you like this." I held my tongue, but my assessment of her was that she comes from a wealthy family and her parents spoil her. She followed me around the place, videoing me while ranting, threatening to have me fired, etc. This made me angry, but I didn't react or say anything. Karen wants me to work there, but I don't. Our cast. We've got myself. We've got Karen. We've got the obese kid. He's around 10 to 12. We've got the store clerk. I live way out of town, but work in town, so I frequently go into stores before or after work while dressed in my work clothes. Since this saves me a 2-hour round trip to go home and change, this will become important later. Last fall, I was looking for a washing machine and found a really nice one marked down to less than half price. I found a sales clerk who was helping a man and a lady, and when he looked in my direction, I indicated that I would like to purchase the washing machine when he was finished with his other customers and had a minute. He nodded. I went over to the washing machine to wait for him so I could keep first dibs on buying it. A woman, who will be known as Karen, with a very obese kid in tow, came up to me and asked me for help. No biggie, this has happened to me before. I smiled and told her that I don't work there. She got irritated and told me she couldn't find anybody who worked there. The sales clerk was maybe 10 feet away, and that she wanted me to work there. I said, "But I don't work here." Then she said, "But I need help with a dishwasher." I told her that I know nothing about their dishwashers and don't even own a dishwasher, and that she would need to ask someone who actually does work there. She glared at me and was about to leave when she glanced at my shirt and gasped. She was quiet for a few seconds, but it was just an intake of air before I was treated to one of those famous Karen at full volume in person. She pointed to my shirt and said, "What do you mean you don't work here? You do work here, and I want your help right now. That's enough of your crap." I looked at her calmly and said, "Ma'am, this," pointing to the embroidery on my shirt, says name of grocery store. You are in name of hardware store. I do not work here." But she wasn't having any of it and let loose at me at full volume, yelling about being a mother and having her kid with her and how I needed to stop messing around and help her because she has a kid. Poor kid looked embarrassed. I actually felt sorry for him because he must have dealt with her nonsense every day. Karen stomped away, yelling about making a complaint, and then for some reason she turned around and came back to glare at me. I told her again that I do not work there and that she would simply have to find someone who does work there to help her. She kept complaining and telling her kid how he would have to wait since I refused to help her, yelled at me about how she is a mother and her time is important, and on and on. After a few minutes, she quieted down and stood between me and the dishwashers, glaring at me. I couldn't resist. I had to give her my sweetest smile and said, "Oh, and when that clerk is finished with the people he's helping, I'm next." She let out an epic grabbed her kid by the arm, and stomped off. As soon as he saw that Karen was gone, the store clerk quit talking to the other customers who he had been halfway hiding behind, made sure she was out of sight, then seeing that it was now safe, came over to help me. The time that security prevented me from doing my job. I used to work as an entertainment lighting electrician and console programmer. One of my busiest times of year was working the New York Fashion Week, both spring and fall. It was a lot of organized chaos, but I enjoyed my time there. The most important place backstage is the hair and makeup stations in the dressing rooms. Rows of tables with mirrors and lights, with power for the hairstylists and makeup artists for things like blow dryers and curling irons, and courtesy power for the models for phones and such. While we try to make sure that each station has at least 2 dedicated 20-amp circuits, invariably someone will come in and plug their equipment into the same power strip as the workstation next to them, and it will trip a breaker. Now, runway shows are absolute chaos backstage. Models, hairdressers, makeup artists, production assistants, press, designers, it gets pretty crowded backstage. Security is understandably tight during this whole process, but guards don't actually come in until the day of the show. Because we're already in the space long before the show actually starts, I always try to introduce myself to the security guards so they know who I am. Usually wearing a radio and a tool belt is enough for most people to clue in who we are, and if that fails, the all-access pass or wristband seals in. But I always like to take the extra step and be prepared. So, one fine show day, I get a frantic call on my radio from the lead production assistant. "Distifiz, there's no power at the hair and makeup stations." Now, if it's actually just one station that's out, or all of them, it doesn't really make a difference. Even having one station out can be an emergency. So I start making my way over. On my way, I encounter lead production assistant who looks very relieved to see me and motions for me to follow. Backstage is packed to the gills, so she makes it to the dressing room entrance a little bit before I do. As I'm about to go in, I get stopped by security. Unfortunately, it's not the same guy that was at the dressing rooms before the show when I was introducing myself, so this guy doesn't know me. Security: "Models only backstage." Me: "It's okay, I'm on the tech team." I show him my white wristband. Security: "Nice try. Gold wristbands only backstage." He grabs my arm and starts pulling me away from the dressing room entrance. "You need to go." Just then, I get another call on my radio. Lead production assistant: "This'll fizz, where are you?" I key my mic and respond. I'm being escorted out by security at the moment. Something has now finally clicked in Meatlug's head. Unfortunately for him, he was too slow to respond. Lead production assistant comes storming out of the dressing room. "Security, what the heck are you doing? He works here. He's my electrician. Let him go." Security: "But he doesn't have a gold wristband." Gold is for dressing room only. White is for all access. Now let go of him." He let go of me, apologized, and I went about my business. I don't disparage the man for trying to do his job, but he probably should have been paying more attention when his boss was going over wristband colors for the day. Entitled kid fakes injury for 3 months to get attention. Okay, so when I was in the 4th grade, entitled kid harassed me. She would never get out of my face, always put me down, and whenever I told her, "I don't like you," or "please leave me alone," she would say, "Your friend told you to say that," and start yelling at me to not listen to her and that she was a fake friend. Fast forward to the 5th grade. In elementary school, we only got one class with the same classmates for a year, and she wasn't in it. I was happy until around a week after the first day of school, she came in with a knee brace that you could find at Walmart for $18 and crutches because she broke her knee. At first, it was believable. She jumped onto a ball and broke it. She came to school every day and got helped by everyone. One time, she made me drop my tray at lunch to carry hers. Every day, she got 11 to 13 kids to go in the elevator with her because she was scared when she had shown no sign of claustrophobia whatsoever. Around a month later, she told me in the elevator to 1. Grow out my hair because I had a pixie cut because I looked like a boy, and 2. That she only fractured her knee. I googled how long it took for a knee fracture to heal, and it said 4 to 6 weeks. That's less than a month. I told best friend that, and soon everyone got fishy. My elementary school had a top floor with half of the school in it, and the bottom floor had the other half, and it was a small school, so info spread fast. 2 months later is when nobody believed her. There were rumors that they saw her walking fine without her crutches after she looked around for a second, and others said that they saw her trying to damage her leg in the bathroom. It grew crazy. She started not letting me hang around my friends at recess because I got to see them all the time, and she also made me play wrecking ball on the swing with her. The game was that I was the wrecking ball and had to destroy the leg with a brace on it. I was hesitant at first when I thought, she's faking it, so I did. She didn't get affected at all. 3 months later was when a skiing field trip was announced. It was happening early in January and everyone was hyped. We all basically ignored the fact that entitled kid was still in the brace. She barely got any attention now, and it was probably getting boring using crutches at school for 3 months, so she just didn't one day, and the next one she was using them again. It was strange, but we all just talked about how she was faking it behind her back. It reached a day before winter break, and she was still in the brace and using the crutches and was going painfully slow and purposefully dropping everything to get attention, and she did. Everyone would just roll their eyes when she did that. A day after the break ended was the skiing trip, and surprise, surprise, entitled kid was out of her brace and not using crutches. It annoyed me so much, but I just ignored it. Around 3 weeks after the trip, entitled mom arrived. It was recess, and I was climbing on this rope jungle gym thing when entitled mom started yelling the name of a kid climbing next to me. He was one of entitled kid's crushes. She had 20. He obeyed the orders and he came down. Once he did, she started screaming at him for not loving entitled kid for busting her knee, and after that, she went to another one and did the same thing. That school was crap, and all the teachers hated their jobs, so they did absolutely nothing. She's still an entitled kid to this day, and I have many other stories to tell about her and other entitled kids from that school if you want. And shoutouts to our regenerals of the day, David, Luke, Mr. Sloth, and Braxton Gaming. Become tomorrow's regenerals by leaving as many reads as you can in the comments below, and please listen to my playlist every night when you go to sleep.